Hi, my name is Silly and welcome back to the Little Reader's Corner. Today I'm talking about my 21 anticipated releases for the rest of 2021. So these are all new releases that are coming out from July to December. I'm very excited about these. I was very excited about my anticipated releases for the first half of 2021. Did I read all of those? Most of them, actually, yes, which is very exciting. So now I'm going to talk about 21 new ones that are coming out, and quite a few of them are in the month of July. So let's get started. So let's start off with the July releases. So first on this list I have She Who Became the Sun, which is written by Shelley Parker Chan. And this one sounds absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look at the synopsis. So this is a bold, queer, and lyrical reimagining of the rise of the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty from a new voice in literary fantasy. This takes place in 1345 China, as China is under the harsh Mongol rule, and for starving peasants of the Central Plains, greatness is something found only in stories. And the rest of the synopsis we're going to leave a mystery because it is so much more fun to find out as you read. Next up we have Six Crimson Cranes, and this is written by Elizabeth Lim. Shori, the only princess of Kiata, has a secret. Forbidden magic runs through her veins, and normally she conceals it well. But on the morning of her betrothal ceremony, she loses control. At first, it seems like her mistake was just a stroke of luck for stalling the wedding that she never actually wanted, but it also catches the attention of her stepmother. Raikama has a dark magic of her own, and she banishes the young princess, turning her brothers into cranes and warning Shiori that she must speak of it to no one. For with every word that escapes her lips, one of her brothers will die. This sounds phenomenal. I cannot wait for this one, and this one comes out very soon. Next we have Rise to the Sun, and this is written by Leah Johnson. Leah Johnson was the one who wrote You Should See Me a Crown, which I absolutely loved, so this new contemporary romance by her sounds fantastic. 3 days, 2 girls, 1 life-changing festival. Toni is grieving the loss of her roadie father and needing to figure out where her life will go from here, and she's desperate to get back to loving music. Olivia is a hopeless romantic whose heart has just taken a beating again and is beginning to feel like she's always a square peg in a round hole. But the Farmland Music and Arts Festival is a chance to find a place where she fits. When something goes wrong and the festival is sent into a panic, Olivia and Toni will find that they need each other and music more than they ever imagined. It sounds really cute. I loved You Should See Me in a Crown, so I have very high hopes for this one as well. Next I have This Poison Heart, and this is written by Kaylin Barron. This is a contemporary fantasy about a girl with a unique and deadly power. Bryces has a gift. She can grow plants from tiny seeds to rich blossoms with a single touch. But when her aunt dies and wills her a dilapidated estate in rural New York, Bree and her parents decide to leave Brooklyn behind for the summer. Their new home is sinister in ways they could never imagine. When strangers begin to arrive on their doorstep asking for tinctures and elixirs, Bree learns she has a surprising talent for creating them. There is more to Bree's sudden inheritance than she could have imagined, and she's determined to uncover it, until someone comes in search for a rare and dangerous immortality elixir. It sounds really interesting. I think it'll be a good time. Kaylin Barron also wrote Cinderella is Dead, and I heard really fantastic things about this one. I think this is kind of a very loosely inspired Snow White retelling. That's kind of the vibe I was getting, so it should be really interesting. Next I have Summer in the City of Roses, and this is written by Michael Ruiz-Keel. This story is inspired both by Greek myths and a Grimm's fairy tale, and it follows 2 siblings torn apart and struggling to find each other in early 90s Portland. The rest of the synopsis gets pretty wacky from there, so we'll see how this one turns out, but the cover is beautiful, the vague synopsis sounds really interesting, and it could be a fun read. And now we've made it to the August releases. So first on this list, I have A Lesson in Vengeance. This is written by Victoria Lee, and this is a dark, twisty, atmospheric thriller and dark academic book about a boarding school haunted by its history of witchcraft and 2 girls dangerously close to digging up the past. So far, I have joined all of the dark academia themed books that I've read. I'm not much of a person for thrillers or suspense novels, but put it in an academic setting and add all these other academic themes into it, and all of a sudden I am interested, so this one could be a lot of fun. And the last release for August that I have is a graphic novel that I'm super excited about. The short synopsis is that it's a sweet, queer teen romance perfect for fans of Fence and Check Please. And I have enjoyed all of Fence and all of Check Please very, very much. They are some of my favorite graphic novel series, so I am pretty excited about this one. And the rest of the synopsis is it's about Annie, who's an antisocial lesbian who's starting off her senior year of high school and who's under a lot of pressure to join the cheerleading squad to make friends and round out her college applications. And her former friend, Bibi, is a people pleaser. She's a trans girl who must keep her parents happy with her grades and social life to keep their support for her transition. During training, the two girls rekindle their friendship they thought they had lost and discover that there may be more feelings there than they thought. This one's super cute. I'm really excited. The artwork looks adorable as well, so I can't wait for this one. And now we get into the hefty September releases. There are always a lot of September releases, which for me is very exciting because my birthday is in September, and this year my birthday falls on a Tuesday, so one of these releases, one that I'm actually really excited about, comes out on my birthday. So yeah, I'm pretty thrilled. Now let's talk about these September releases. So first off, I have Iron Widow, and this is written by Sharon J. Zhao, and I am so excited for this. I have been following them on Twitter for like 2 years now. Excellent Twitter, by the way. Go check it out. It's a good time. And we finally got the cover reveal for this book, and it's actually coming out in a couple of months, and I cannot wait. Now let's get to the synopsis. So in short, this is basically Pacific Rim meets The Handmaid's Tale. It is a blend of Chinese history as well as like mecha science fiction and a YA novel all packed together. And now that you have that in your mind, what actually happens in this book? So it is these boys that are dreaming of pairing up with girls to pilot chrysalises, who are giant transforming robots that can battle mecha aliens that lurk beyond the Great Wall. And it doesn't matter that the girls often die from the mental strain of it, but when 18-year-old Jetian offers herself up as a concubine pilot, it's to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. And then the plot goes on from there. I mean, are you excited? I'm very excited. Next up, we have Certain Dark Things, and this is written by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have loved Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I haven't read Beautiful Things yet, but I really want to. And this book comes out in a matter of months, so I have a lot of reading to do before then to catch up, but I cannot wait. So this is basically described as a pulse-pounding neo-noir reimagining of vampire lore. It takes place in Mexico City, an oasis in a sea of vampires. Domingo, a lonely garbage collecting street kid, is just trying to survive its heavily policed streets when a jaded vampire on the run swoops into his life. Adol, the descendant of Aztec blood drinkers, is smart, beautiful, and dangerous. Vampires, humans, cops, and criminals collide in the dark streets of Mexico City. Do Adol and Domingo even stand a chance of making it out alive, or will the city devour them all? Ooh, I don't really care about vampires, but when you put it this way, I can care about vampires. I can care about vampires very much, thank you. Next up for our September releases, we have Beautiful World, Where Are You? And this is written by Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney is the one who wrote Conversation with Friends and Normal People. If you've seen the adaptation on Hulu of Normal People or read the book, you might be excited for this. I have not read any of Sally Rooney's work yet, but I did see the Hulu adaptation. Absolutely loved it. I really want to read Sally Rooney's work, and this sounds fantastic. Alice is a novelist, and she meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks him if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with a man she's known since childhood. They're all still young, but life is catching up with them. They desire each other, they delude each other, they get together, they break up, they have sex, they worry about sex, they worry about their friendships and the world that they live in. Are they standing in the last lighted room before darkness, bearing witness to something, and will they find a way to believe in a beautiful world? Do we even know what's happening in this book? No. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. We care about the characters, and that's why we're here. I can't wait. Next we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I am so excited for this. Stephanie Garber is an autobiography. Oh, what? Stephanie Garber is an autobi author for me, and I am excited about this book. I think it's gonna be great. Let's check out the synopsis. This is a new series about love, curses, and the lengths that people will go to for a happily ever after. Evelyn was raised in her beloved father's curiosity shop, where she grew up on legends about immortals, like the tragic Prince of Hearts. She knows his powers are mythic, his kiss is worth dying for, that bargaining for him rarely turns out well. But when Evelyn learns that the love of her life is about to marry someone else, she becomes desperate enough to offer the Prince of Hearts whatever he wants in exchange for his help to stop the wedding. This kind of gives me Heartless vibes. If you've read Heartless by Marissa Meyer, I don't know, the plot isn't very similar, but it's got kind of similar aspects of it, and I absolutely loved Heartless. So this sounds like it could be great. Next up we have Act Cool. This is written by Toby Smith. This is about a trans teen who walks the fine line between doing whatever it takes to achieve his acting dream and staying true to himself in this moving, thought-provoking YA novel by the acclaimed author of Stay Gold. I still haven't read Stay Gold yet. I really want to. I heard it was fantastic. I think when it came out last year, maybe the year before. I think it came out last year. And I still haven't read it, but I mean, this one sounds really good too, so I think I just gotta read both of them, honestly. Next I have It All Comes Back to You, and this is written by Farah Nasrishi, and this one sounds super cute. The cover art for it is absolutely adorable, and let's check out the synopsis. Two exes must revisit their past after their siblings start dating. After Kieran's mom died, she vowed to keep her dad and sister close and to keep her family together. But when her sister announces she's dating someone, Kieran's world is turned upside down. When the families meet, Dean and Kieran find themselves face to face again. 3 years ago, before their siblings met, Kieran and Dean dated in secret until Dean ghosted Kieran. Oh, it sounds like a lot of drama. Oh, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be adorable, and there's gonna be some tension, but it's gonna be cute in the end, probably, hopefully. I'm excited. I also like the family drama. It sounds like a good time. And now we move into October releases. So I got a couple of releases for October. First on this list, we have Well Matched by Jen DeLuca. This is part of this Ren Fair romance series that Jen DeLuca has written. I absolutely loved Well Met. I am holding off on reading Well Played because the entire synopsis and the whole plot of the entire book is spoiled on the back, and it's really upsetting. So for this synopsis for Well Matched, the third book kind of in this series, but you don't have to read these two to read this next one, but it could help with knowing who the characters are. I am going to read a very short version of the synopsis, and I will not be reading the entire thing because the whole plot is spoiled on this book. But if you haven't read these yet and you like Ren Fairs or Renaissance fairs, that kind of thing, check them out. They are flipping fantastic. I really enjoyed them. Here we have an accidentally in love rom-com filled with Renaissance fair flower crowns, kilts, corsets, and sword fights. Single mother April Parker has lived in Willow Creek for 12 years. For this time, she's had a wall around her heart. On the verge of being an empty nester, she's decided to move on from her quaint little town and asked her friend Mitch for his help with some home improvement projects to get her house ready to sell. As summer begins, the Renaissance Fair returns to Willow Creek and April volunteers for the first time. And that is where we're ending the synopsis, because already from there, it already basically tells you everything that's going to happen, which is just very upsetting. So if somehow the publishers find their way, right here, right now, I am telling you, please make these synopses more vague. Oh my goodness. The last book, whole thing spoiled. This one gets very gosh darn close. Let's move on. Next, we have The Color of Dragons. So this is written by R.A. Salvatore and Erica Lewis, and it is a sweeping, action-packed, romantic, pre-Arthurian tale of the origins of magic and Merlin. Sold? Yeah, me too. So magic needs a spark, and with no one to help her learn her magic, Maggie's powers are especially fickle. Until she meets Griffin, the king's champion who is infamous for hunting down draconic creatures that plague their kingdom. Neither has any idea of the destiny they both carry, or that their meeting will set off a chain of events that will alter every aspect of the life they know, and all of history thereafter. I mean, you know, no pressure, low stakes. Okay, great. And the last release we have for October is Lore of Olympus by Rachel Smith. If you have heard of Lore of Olympus, you probably heard of it as a webtoon, webcomic online that has really swept the nation. But now it is coming in a physical hardcover paperback graphic novel format. This collects, I think, volumes 1 through 26, if I remember correctly, of the webtoon, and it is scandalous gossip, wild parties, and forbidden love. Witness what the gods do after dark in this stylish and contemporary reimagining of mythology's most well-known stories, Hades and Persephone. I've heard phenomenal things about this webcomic. I can't wait to physically read it. I've been wanting to read it for a very long time, but now since it's actually physically coming out, I think I'm going to wait until I can have a physical copy and I can read it. Moving on to our November releases, we are finally getting A Psalm of Storms and Silence by Roseanne A. Brown. This was supposed to come out in like February, I think, of this year, but because everything, it was pushed back to November of this year, which is just highly disappointing, but it's fine. So this is the sequel to A Song of Race and Ruins. If you have read that, fantastic, phenomenal, amazing story. And I'm not going to talk about the synopsis of this one because it will give away everything that happens in the previous story, but if you haven't read A Song of Race and Ruin, you should definitely check it out. It's phenomenal. I love it. It's so good. If you want to read about kind of like refugee stories, but in a fantastic fictional setting, but still accurately portrays them, this is the way to go. Next up, we have Skin of the Sea, and this is written by Natasha Bowen. So this is an unforgettable fantasy debut inspired by West African mythology in which a mermaid takes on the gods themselves. Simi prayed to the gods once. Now she serves them as the Mamiwata, a mermaid collecting the souls of those who die at sea and blessing their journeys back home. But when a living boy is thrown overboard, Simi does the unthinkable and saves his life, going against an ancient decree, and punishment awaits for those who dare to define it. If you at all care about mermaids and I guess oceanic stories, this one sounds really flippin' good, and I cannot wait to read it. Oh my goodness. And our last November release is Gilded. This is written by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer is also one of my auto-buy authors. I have read, I think, everything that Marissa Meyer has ever written and have loved all of it. So yeah, this is a haunting retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. Long ago, cursed by the god of lies, a poor miller's daughter has developed a talent for spinning stories that are fantastical and spellbinding and entirely untrue. Or so everyone believes. We're leaving it at that because we love some mystery. I can't wait to read this. I do love me some retellings, and if there is anyone that I trust with a retelling, it is Marissa Meyer. So I think she'll do a phenomenal job. Now we are rounding out our list with the last 2 books that are coming out in December. So let's get to those December releases. First, for these December releases, we have If This Gets Out, and this is written by Sophie Gonzalez and Kate Dietrich. This is about 18-year-olds Ruben and Zach, who are 2 members of a boy band, one of the biggest acts in America. Along with their 2 bandmates, the 4 are teen heartbreakers in front of the cameras and best friends backstage. But privately, cracks are starting to form. Ruben confides in Zach that he's feeling smothered by the management's pressure to stay in the closet. How can they hold tight to each other when the whole world seems to want to come between them? Sophie Gonzalez is great, and I can't wait to read some more work by her. I think Sophie Gonzalez does really great contemporary romances, so I can't wait for this one. Now my last book on my 21 anticipated releases for the remainder of 2021 is Here's to Us, and this is written by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. And this is the sequel to What If It's Us, and I absolutely love this. I read this in like 2018 possibly, and I read it within a couple days. Absolutely adored it. So I'm not going to give much of this synopsis away since it is a sequel, but it basically takes place a couple years after the first book. Now they are both a few years older. One of them is in college, one of them is working, and they've kind of drifted apart a little bit, but they might actually end up coming back together. So there you go. So those are all of my anticipated releases from July until December. I definitely did have to narrow this list down because, of course, there are many new books coming out this year. I also look forward to checking in on how I did with the books that I wanted to read at the beginning of the year with the anticipated releases from January till June, but that will be a different video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely let me know down below which of these books you are most looking forward to reading, or if I didn't mention one of your own anticipated releases, let me know down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!